Hello there. Let me share this link. What's up, y'all? Here we go. Just gonna share this first. Yeah. It's time for a campfire on Saturday night. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, uh, yeah. Tweet has been posted. Oh yeah, it's a great thumbnail of the side of my freaking head. Oh geez. God, that's bad. Holy jeez, that's bad. Wow. That's what happens when you cut your own hair. I'm gonna have to delete that. I don't need to share this thumbnail. That's totally okay. Woo. Sometimes you just have to not worry about though, right? I was supposed to be on tonight with End of Days Radio, and we had started. I really love that guy, by the way. I'm looking forward to going back. He started streaming video tonight. He wanted to kind of debut me doing that, and there was just some latency issues. It didn't seem like it was on his end. It was just some kind of delays, or like it kept bumping its way out. So anyway, it was causing some problems, and so I didn't go live. And all day today, I'm not doing that interview now. And all day today, I was like, man, I haven't done a campfire in a long time. I'd love to do one tonight, but I couldn't because of this interview. But now the interview's canceled. I decided I will go live anyway and say really boring things. Like right now, I'm just telling you kind of, oh, then I changed my tire, and then I did this, and then I did this. So guys, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't have anything prepared for you. This might be really rude, that I'm even throwing a campfire without having anything prepped. I usually like to have something kind of ready for you guys. That's how much I value your energy and your prana. And I don't have that right now. I really just was still sitting here, and I was like, I'm just going to hit stream. So if anybody has anything they want to talk about, I would be really freaking sweet. You'd be sort of like bailing me out of a little pickle I'm in. I could definitely talk about what's going on though. I'm happy to talk about that. So what's going on? Where have I been? Right? I haven't been campfiring in a while. Or at least it feels that way. I'm kind of like this junkie, I guess, because when I put out YouTube stuff, I tend to like stream every day for like 6 days in a row, and then I just stop for a while, and then I come back on. And yeah, it'd be cooler. I think it'd be better if I wasn't doing that. If I was more kind of regular, as they like to say. He's always so regular right now, but I can't be regular. You guys know that. You guys can't be regular either. Being regular is quite irregular. So the year is coming to a close. This time last year, I had written my first book, Spell 6 Dragons. I think maybe 7 people probably had bought it by now. Was pretty psyched about that. I was like, wow, this is awesome. Never done that before. That was like 10 or 20 years of writing, kind of like condensed like soup, and put into a book. And yeah, it's sort of like my coming out, I guess, as a writer. And then Blueprints of Mind Control came out next, and we had quite a year. Wow. And then 6 months later, Technology of Belief came out, and wow. And then I've actually got this other novel that I keep telling you guys about, but I don't show you yet. But it's this sci-fi novel, Quantum Rapture, and it's getting there. It's almost there. But then I've sort of gotten sidetracked by this Man from Katua project, which is what a great thing to sidetrack. So Thanksgiving, I at the black powder shoot. I wasn't just me. What a team, right? Aaron was there. Brent was there. Honestly, there was like we had a full crew. We had people that we weren't expecting there. We had people that we were expecting there. It really went well, and so that led us just to play around with the video for this documentary, which is already well on its way. But yeah, so here's what happened. I'll go ahead and tell you what happened. So this awesome guy, Brad, contacted me, Brad Martin, and he's done a lot of stuff. I want to pull up his IMDb. I feel like I should kind of ask him that though, because I feel like I should wait because it might be. Anyway, I'm kind of doing that out of respect because he's been so nice. He is saw that documentary or saw what we're doing and said, hey, I work in the industry, and he does, and I want to help you guys out in any way I can. So it's like this huge like vent of oxygen came underneath the fire and was just like, and Tiffany Fitzhenry said the same thing. Hey, what are you doing? What's going on? And again, another huge vent of oxygen. And then all you guys started coming in, joining on Patreon. We have 94 freaking patrons. Can you believe that? 94. It's amazing. So that's been the biggest vent. Like that's been the most of the auction has been that. It's just, and so it's made me go, wow, there's some potential here. And Brad said, James, if you're going to do this, even though it's a documentary, I think you need to write a screenplay, and I think you need to write a script. I don't know his exact words that he said, but you need to write it out. And I'd never done that before. So I did. I wrote it out. I wrote out the screenplay. I've got it right here. It's 30 pages long. When I say here, it's actually over there, and it would involve me walking over 2 sleeping dogs, and that's not going to happen right now. They've had a long day. They're having an issue with a raccoon that is coming into their abode, but they're retired, so they can't see, they can't hear the raccoon when it comes in. And right now they are resting. They've had a really tough time with this raccoon. So getting off track here. So we wrote the screenplay. Brent helped me a lot with this. Actually, all of us did. This has all been a culmination. I'm afraid I'm going to leave someone out. This has all been amalgamation of my trip to New York when Aaron invited me up there. Just all of the energy, people like Beth, people like Joe, really all you guys, Carolyn. It's been so much underneath here that it's been a big, big fire. It's gotten so big that I wrote the screenplay. The screenplay is not a documentary at all. The screenplay is so all last year with my 2 books, I was trying to awaken the awoken, if that makes sense. And I would rather maybe try and awaken people that are asleep right now. Not rather in the sense of I'd rather only do one, but I think we can do that. And I think that this script does that. Because when you're asleep, you want to be told stories. And when you're awake, you want to be told the truth. And I think we can tell a story that fools you into wanting the truth when it's over. This is a devious plan that we're plotting here. It's going to make sovereignty fashionable. Fashion is a very powerful word I've learned this year. Fashion equates to war. Heck, man, we've got it so bad chemically that we kill each other based on the color of the uniform that we each wear. That's how bad it is. We don't yell out across the battlefield, what's your feelings on communism? Do you believe in a representative government? That these conversations don't have. What's the name of your God? No, we kill based on fashion. We go, that guy's not wearing a red hat. I'm going to shoot him in the fucking head. That's how bad it is right now. And that's why I think the screenplay is going to be effective. I've been waiting for the tribe to kind of be like, go, James, where the fuck, why are you going here? But keep in mind that this still fits because we still can film the documentaries as we're doing the filming. In fact, it could really, man, what if we could get the campground as the set, right, for this movie? Oh, I mean, the potential is just freaking huge here. And I'm getting ahead of myself because I cannot actually divulge the script here on YouTube. I'm only sharing that with producers right now. It's a secret. It would be like the people on Broadway, letting people off the street come in and look at them practice. It's a surprise. So I can't show it all to you. However, if any of you want to join, I think most of you guys are already on board, which is pretty awesome. So I won't harp on this. But if you guys want to join, you can join Patreon. You can read the script. You can keep track of all the stuff. You could also go to the GoFundMe and give that way. I've probably sounded like a pretty big beggar the last couple weeks. I know I have. I've really shown like just how desperate I want to make this movie. And I'm sorry if that's bothered anybody, but I can taste this, guys. I'm telling you. I can taste this. I this is something that we can freaking bring to life this year. And to me, the key is going to be this trailer, because if we can show that a trailer is being made, we can actually broadcast out to other people to see what are those guys doing over there? What is the man from Cthulhu? What are they doing? Wait, they made it. Wow, this is a good trailer. Holy shit. Wow, that's like a bunch of ragtag truthers who don't fit into either political party and are rejecting the Kool-Aid of things are okay. They're understand how important action is right now. What are they doing over there? See, it could be a very building thing. And that's why, in my opinion, it's going to be this trailer. This trailer is going to be freaking crucial for this to happen. And what I like about this trailer is even if the two contacts that I've sent this script to already, even if they reject it, even if they're like, yeah, well, that's great, but there's really nothing. So when I say reject, what I mean is even if they read it and like it, but nothing happens with it, I still want to take it somewhere. Even if all we can produce right now is the trailer, I still think that would be a powerful, powerful thing for us to have. What I can share with you is the trailer itself, what that would be. And since I don't hear anyone saying, hey, ask about this, I actually want to tell you about this trailer. I think it'll be a fun thing. I can actually read you the script for that. By the way, here's Patreon, guys. 94 patrons, man. That is so freaking awesome. 94 of them. Here we go. When I say here we go, I mean, I need to pull this up. You know what? This would be better if I pulled it up this way. I'm going to read it to you guys. It's short. I should say that this is actually up for change too. This is just my first draft at what this would be. Okay. Shall share this with you. You guys might enjoy seeing what a script looks like. I've enjoyed it. I've never written scripts before. It's been kind of cool. It's a whole new way of doing art. Here it is. Share. Boom. All right. We start with an exterior beach shot. There's tide coming in from the shore. On-screen text. You know what? I think I want to show you something else instead. Hang on. I mean, I'm still going to go over this, but I've actually drawn this stuff out. Let's see if this works here. Share. There it is. Okay. C1. You've got a giant footprint, and then you've got human footprints. Okay. And they are walking along the beach. You don't see any figures. All you see is footprints, and you see the tide coming on the shore. I think we could actually get some crabs that were caught and like release them and have them like run over the footprint. I think that would really show a scale, if that makes sense, y'all. You know, like it would show you just how big the giant is. But if we don't have the crab, this will still work because Brent and I added this next scene, which is, oh, come on. Why aren't you showing me? There we go. Which is this. Okay. So the next scene, it's a close up on one of these big footprints, right? And again, all you see is a footprint, but in frame, you see a person barefoot, a regular human, walk inside of this footprint, right? So this is the first scene was on the beach, right? The second scene is sort of more you're going into the woods, right? So first scene you're seeing the footprints. Second scene you're following, or second shot I should say. Sorry, you're going in the woods and you're seeing this happen, where a human. So this is the only human you would actually see so far in the commercials, and you'd only see their feet, maybe the end of a loincloth here, maybe. Okay. Third scene, you come upon a raw teepee. Inside the teepee is light, and cast on the walls are the shadows of these figures. You see 3 small ones and a giant one. Then we scan into the canvas of the teepee itself, and we see a puppet show, a silhouette show. All this will probably be rendered in 3D Max. Excuse me. Basically, you see a Brave fighting a spider machine. This is an animation of a spider / machine guy. It actually has hidden hand written inside here, but that was an accident. I just noticed it. But this is basically a machine attacking it. These guys fight each other, and then an eclipse happens in the shadows, because there's an eclipse in the movie, but in the silhouette, there's an eclipse. And then this shot of and all this is close up on the canvas. So this is like animal skin, what you're seeing in white. And then the final scene is a wolf howling, and you actually hear the wolf. And then we go to the next shot. The next shot is we're in a very fancy house, Civil War era. There is a dog barking at the window, like a poodle, like a domesticated dog. Okay. It's very much nothing against poodles, but just like a very domesticated kind of frou-frou dog. Okay. You see a man in a chair. We don't see his face, looking into a fireplace. That's probably not burning, actually. It's a cold stone fireplace, but you don't see his face. You just see a really well-to-do man that's basically unaffected by this dog yapping at the window. A servant, a Civil War era servant, comes and tends to the dog. Okay. So imagine this being maybe a female. She walks out from the kitchen or the butler area. It could be a male, could be like a butler figure, whichever, but they come out and they get the dog and they stop that. That's what this scene is. It's showing you this lifeless man in a chair that's unaffected by this dog. Keep in mind, we were just had a wolf howling at the moon. So we've moved from a wolf howling at the moon to this domesticated dog barking to get outside, and the man ignoring it. Pretty symbolic there. And then the final scene is we pan around to the front, to behind the chair, and we see that this well-to-do man is looking up above his fireplace, and there is the skull and the bones of Tala the giant. You don't know who Tala is, but you're seeing this as a giant. To show that these are giant bones, I think we're going to have a trophy here. I'm talking about like a deer head, and a deer head here, just to show just how freaking big this is. And keep in mind that this is the Skull and Bones of, the Skull and Bones Society. It's the exact same pose. It's really important that that's the same pose. And I think you could see how that kind of fits and works. And you'll notice, guys, that all those scenes are doable. Like we could film those ourselves. People like us could get together and shoot all of those scenes, and it's not going to take that much work. It's I mean it'll take work because we value our craft, but this is giving the tribe something very powerful to work on that's going to really do something. This is a really cool, powerful scene. It's showing you that well, you saw it. I'm trying to sell something that I just showed to you. Um, this is the script. I don't even think I need to read this now. The tide comes along shore, on screen text. Columbus didn't discover America, he erased it. The year is 1492. And basically, it's showing that nothing happened, that a ship did not land in 1492. But what was happening was there were some frickin' giants on the beach cruising around. Hence, the fresh footprints are in the sand. One is man, the other is giant. The tide fills each hill with foam from the sea and starts to wash it away. So as you're watching that first scene, you even know instinctively, oh, wow, it's washing the giant's footprints away. It's again showing you that history is being uh, uh, erased. Um, yeah. The only thing else I'll say is on the silhouette is showing like the spider machine fighting the man. They're speaking in some kind of foreign language. Just an example, like Cherokee. They're the people buying the tent that are telling these stories. You're hearing the words in Cherokee, and you're seeing the silhouettes, the shadows of the silhouettes. So you wouldn't actually have to understand the language. I think that would also add to the mystique of this whole thing. So that is the um, the trailer that I want to make. Um, Actually, it's not just me. I know I'm not the only one who wants to make this because other people um, are helping me make it too. We've I'm trying to get the come on. There it is. Some of you guys can't do Patreon, and I just pasted a link to our GoFundMe. Um, if you donate money through GoFundMe or through Patreon from now until the end of the year, may go after that, but something really special is going to happen. You're going to be considered a founding member, an elder, so to speak. It's a very important time because you were giving when no one else uh, was. You were giving when we didn't have anything tangible to actually stand on. So I'm trying to start a blockchain film company, guys. When I say blockchain, what I mean is that all of us would own, instead of Hollywood having to go to a Weinstein for a producer, I'm talking about grassroots generated projects like this. This I want to be one of many projects that I've started, and that's why I've been begging for money. I'm sorry, I've been begging for it. I'm sorry, it's probably been annoying to some of you guys, but man, right now we could really use that. What I lack is an editing station. That's what I'm trying to raise money for right now. I've got a monitor. I've got all the other equipment. I need a fast computer. I need a PC. I've picked out the cheapest one I could find that'll do what I want it to do, and it's basically like $3,000. I need that to edit this trailer. Um, we've got the equipment. I could, if I had 3,500, I would get another camera too, but I don't have to have a camera. But I am sort of agreeing to do the editing of this. We've had enough volunteers that have said, hey, I'll help with filming, that we could get by without a camera. But I'm not going to be able to do much without another computer. So anyway, thanks for giving. Some of you, probably most of you guys that are watching, I don't even know how many people are watching right now, but most of you guys that have watched have probably already given. So I'm preaching to the choir. I'm sorry about that. I just want you to know that uh, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be freaking amazing. And even if all we get is out of it is a trailer, I think it'll be worth your time. I think it'll be worth all our time. because it could really open the door for doing other things. I would love to be just on a much larger scale doing the same thing I'm doing this time, but this time next year. I'd rather be telling you guys, well, we got the campground because we got the set because we're doing the movie, and now we get to do these fireside chats for real, like in front of a real fire, where people are coming to this campground and staying for a weekend and having these events. And there is much to unlearn. That's what we'd be doing everywhere. Imagine the sign above the corral when you pull into the campground. There is much to unlearn. Imagine having a place where we're thumping the idea that man is the living soil. It's something I believed in for a long time. And I think this film might be a way to get there. I think it might happen, especially if it's kick ass. And with the team that we've got around us, it can be. It can be. So if you guys can throw down on that system, man, I'm throwing down with all the software because I have to a lot of different software that involves. Keep in mind, once I have that PC, I'm back into 3D again. I used to do augmented reality, so there's some of these scenes I could render ships out in the distance. Can render a lot of different. This scene involving the teepee where we're showing the silhouette shadows. Studio Max is a great tool for that. You could do the backlighting for it and make it look really cool and real. I'm willing to do all that time, put in all the effort of doing this, writing the script, I just don't have the money. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. 5 years ago, I had all the money, but I wasn't awake then. And now I'm awake, but I don't have money. And I'm telling you, the reason why is because it's because we're not using real money. It's because I don't, believe in the fiat system. I think that's actually part of why I don't have money. I think that's I like legitimately. I think that's why that's happening. So anyway, I know I sound like a Jerry Lewis telethon, but I just want you to know that's what it's for. It's for this. And if you've seen any of my dragon projects, I've made these really big dragons before. And they're always a big team effort. It's always an experience for everyone involved. These are once in a lifetime experiences to make these kind of art. It changes us. It's a transmutation, and we can do that with film. Not only can we do that with film, but once we get enough equipment, we can do it with film and sustain ourselves. We can sustain ourselves because I'm building a channel, as you guys can already tell. Did you guys see our sovereignty presentation yesterday? Holy shit. Like 3 lawyers, 2.5 lawyers, depends on what time you came in, all giving their own synopsis, their own stories about their path towards sovereignty. As I get better, as I can edit, I can't even edit video right now, really. So once we can start editing this stuff and doing things, it's, man, could do a lot. I see the channel growing, and then the channel's being spun off into this campground. And then once the campground's up, the campground itself becomes its own channel. And there are many channels. Talking about inside the art studio where we're making the puppets, like the giant fire breathing dragon you guys have seen. It's not real fire, don't worry. It's like this fog machine thing. Although a real fire one would be great. I'm just saying we could totally do that. Filming around the campfire. Once we have this campfire rig that we've explained before about how we could build this campfire rig and stream that, you've got that. Then you've got the actual campsite itself. And you've got like a boot camp program where people can come and work on the show or the campsite or the HR or the administration or the nonprofit part or the wildlife rehab or whatever else it is we've got going on the property. That campground is going to create its own, it'll be its own living, breathing thing. We can open source that shit. We can have other people come and go, I want to do this. And we can go, okay, great, do it. Do it. What do you need? We can, help in whatever way we can. We can build these little modules all over the place. And when you have like a conglomerate that sort of all kinds of weird, crazy stuff could happen. I think we could even try and declare like a certain 10-foot by 10-foot plot, like sovereign anti, like our own Indian reservation. I'm telling you, I think we can do this. A lot of experiments will happen once we do that. Anyway, so that's why I'm all like, give me money, give me money. Right now, it's just for that system. It's just for that that computer. And thanks to the patrons that we have now, if I can keep those patrons on board for 5 months, that would pay for the system. But that doesn't feel comfortable to me because now I'm having to ask these people to wait and to stay on board while we're not producing anything. This is kind of what brings me back to why I'm saying I'm sorry I'm asking for money, but that's part of it. We kind of need that shot right now. It's going to help us move forward on this, and it's already happening. We got $400 on GoFundMe, which is freaking huge. Thank you to the 10 donors who did that. And we've got Patreon, the 96 there. So that's what's going on, y'all. That's what's happening. And I hope it's okay that I was talking about money as much as I can. And if anyone has any ideas on how to raise more, please let me know. Once I have the system, I'm probably not going to have to ask for money for a while because really I could just build the channel, and as the channel grows, I'll fund this shit myself. The thing is that I am slow on the ever since I woke up. My money earning skills have been pretty hilariously funny. Where those have been. It's like other parts of me, my creativity is out the roof, my writing is out the roof, my ideas, as far as like how I feel about my own alchemy, is off the roof. It's just that other part that's been kind of tricky. But actually, to be fair, even that's going good. I mean, I'm selling books right now. It's just, I'm telling you guys a lot about this. Sorry, but the book sales aren't really quite enough to sustain, or else I'd be putting all those books into this video project. But the books themselves actually aren't paying for my living. I'm still hustling on the side. I run this web cameras for this guy. I'm doing tricks. You know, we're all doing tricks. I know we all are. So, um, that's all I got for right now. Unless, as far as like this subject, I wanted to tell you guys that Mindfuhrer, love this guy, Mindfuhrer, over on Twitter, posted about, see if I can find this. So the pulverized remains of bodies from the World Trade Center disaster site were used by city workers to fill ruts and potholes. The city contractor says in a sworn affidavit filed yesterday in Manhattan federal court. Now, that was in 2007. And I need you guys to understand, Eric Beck says debris powder, known as fines, were put in a pothole fill mixture by crews at the Fresh Kills landfill on Staten Island, where more than 1.65 million tons of World Trade Center debris was deposited after the September 11th attack. Guys, there is a landfill called Fresh Kills. Okay. At what point are we going to kind of be, you know what? We are surrounded by psychopaths. I've been telling you guys about bones lately. I've been telling you guys about bone technology. I've been telling you about this idea of these haunted bones. In fact, if you've read the script, man, I hope you guys who've read the script are like, oh yeah, James, you're definitely telling us about bones, because this script is all over the magic of bones. It's all over it. In fact, the very first character in this script is a Kabbalist, and he's dragging bones into a pit. And that pit is a wailing wall. It's causing a trauma because the bones have been displaced. And look at what New York's doing. They're filling potholes with bones. Manhattan is a circle of water. Inside the circle of water is a checkerboard. You're on the square. Yeah. Think about Paris. Think about Rome. Think about New York. All these things are covered in bones, and all of them have a needle, an obelisk, an antenna. Paris and New York are brother and sister cities. Why? Because they're both surrounded by water, and they both have an antenna. Paris has the Eiffel Tower. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Paris has the Eiffel Tower. Manhattan had the World Trade Center. There's a resonance technology at work here. There's a bone technology at work that we're not we haven't fully tapped into. We have to remember our bones. Otherwise, we end up with the amnesia that everyone talks about, whether it be archaeologists, um, anyone in ancient history understands that there's an amnesia in place here. And I'm suggesting that that amnesia is part of the mind control. That amnesia is a very, very important function. That's why Smithsonian, and this would be in the series, by the way. I haven't written this in, but the Smithsonian would be all in this series because they've been collecting giant bones and disposing of them, hiding them, destroying them. Why would you do that unless it was really important? I think the amnesia is our DNA, our genetic wisdom is stored in the fissures and cellular holes inside of our bones. And each of us, our DNA generates a different marrow structure in our bones. And because it's different, it acts like a resonance, a wand, the most powerful wand. It stores data, it holds it in there. And when you tap in your bones, when you go visit your grave, you're downloading, you're linking to the cloud, your DNA cloud, and you're receiving prana from your ancestors and vice versa. And when we pulverize our bones, I think it's basically making that impossible. It's a forced amnesia. If you never thought about the fact that you've been alive since the beginning of creation, you would have to be alive since the beginning of creation in some way to be here now. And if you have no memory or connection to that, you would feel cut off, isolated, minute, accidental, expendable, unimportant, cheap. You'd feel almost synthetic. And that's a powerful way to control somebody. If you're going to control a room full of people, it'd be better if they had no idea where they came from, who they were. They'd be looking to you to tell them. Hence the amnesia. This is why migration programs are so popular. You know, the exodus from Egypt was a reset. It was literally, what was it? Lord Technology was saying, hey, you guys, follow me because I'm going to reset your ass. I want to reset your DNA and implant in you the desire to chop off the end of your genitals and the desire to look at yourself as a chosen special people. That gets plugged into our genes. It gets epigenetically passed down. Lord Technology was literally installing narcissism inside of a small collection of people. And the only way he could do that was invoking amnesia. He needed those people to exodus. He needed them to leave. He needed them to go and start over somewhere else. And the best way to do that is to put them in a trance through fasting, get them where they're reset. They have no idea where they're coming, where they're going, what's to wait for them. They're testing their faith in the desert. It's creating this reset trauma. Now you've invested 40 days and 40 nights of your life for this Lord Technology. It becomes that much harder to say, bullshit, I'm not playing this anymore. You've become genetically attuned to staying with the crowd. And then you have children. And your children do it even more. Like they're that much more prone to it. They're that much more susceptible. And then they have children. And then those children are that much more susceptible. And it just keeps going and going and going. That's why I want us to remember our bones. That's why I want us to stop talking about DC, because it's filling the air with noise and the noise will never be our bones. Because if you go to the Smithsonian, you're never going to see giant bones. I want to point something out, that the Skull and Bones Society uses, oh, come on. You just showed it to me. Where'd it go? Skull and Bones. The Skull and Bones Society uses femur bones. These are femur bones. So it's the skull and the femur. I think this is the haunting. If you can take the skull and the femur and the femurs of a creature, so all of your pain and trauma in your life, they say, is stored in your hips. You guys have heard this, right? That's why if you're doing yoga, sometimes you'll just start crying because you'll like release something in your hips. I'm not saying we don't store pain in other places, but so much of our trauma is held in our hips. And if you think about haunting, it just seems to make sense that you would, or maybe I'm more asking the question, isn't it interesting, the symbolism that it was the femur bones and the skull that was taken? Like what's that about exactly, I guess, is where I'm going with all that. And that's where the haunting stuff comes in, because there is you guys know the Cave of Patriarchy, right? You guys know about that place, right? This is the Cave of the Patriarchs is a patriarchy. That's hilarious. Oh my God, that would be a funny sketch of this feminist. We must go to the Cave of the Patriarchy and find the sacred bone vagina and unhaunt ourselves in a way which can never be known again. Yeah, I just did that. So the Cave of Patriarchy, this place right here. First of all, 2 towers. Note there's 2 towers, okay? Joachim and Boaz. Inside of this place is the bones of Sarah. Look, this actually shows you. I hope you guys can still see this. Yeah, you guys can see this. It's this it's this hole in the ground, the Cave of the Patriarchy. This is the second most popular place, the second most holy place for Judaism is the Cave of the Patriarchy, this building. And inside this building are the bones of Sarah, Jacob, Isaac, and a few others. And I'm gonna get to this, but first, look at this. Of course, UNESCO jumps in there and says, this is too important to allow regular humans to be here. Okay. But the Cave of the Patriarchy, that's very fitting, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. The Cave of the Patriarchy is, look at this. They've got this cap on here. They've got a fucking seal. It's sealed, guys, and it's locked. Inside of this are the bones of the elders of Judaism and Islam in the same place. In the same place. This is Kabbalism, motherfuckers. This is Kabbalism. This is haunting. How do you haunt the world? You create martyrs. What do all the martyrs have in common? Holy shit, they were tortured bad. I mean, like bad. Or at least that's the story. And St. Stephen was sodomized with the bones of a rhinoceros, and then his innards were split in twain with the crossing of a, I mean, just like evil stuff. Every martyr, just like the worst kind of torture. Drawn and quartered, crucified upside down, crucified and then drowned, or drowned and crucified. It's a stoning. Think about you as a Kabbalist. You're looking for martyrs to take a fall, because the second they take a fall, now you have a prana magnet. Do you understand? Um, if Michael Jackson was to have killed himself, because of everyone has fame for Michael Jackson, and then if he would have killed himself, for example, that would have created a different kind of prana vacuum into him. Or archetypes are thrown into a volcano. And then when they're thrown into a volcano, what if you own their bones, what if you control that prana in some way? What if that prana is kind of well, it's not kind of, that prana is a plasma. And if you own the bones, you own where that plasma goes. And that's why the cave of the patriarchy has the bones of both elders of both religions in the same place. This is a worldwide haunting through martyrdom. This would be a complete functioning technology. Oh, well, James, if that was true, James, no pun intended, but if that was true, then wouldn't you have to show some sort of proof that like these bones are like used in other ways? Yeah. And that's why every Roman Catholic church that's sanctioned by the church has the relic of some patron saint embedded in the pulpit. The pulpit is the place that gets all the energy in a church, isn't it? The preacher is up on the pulpit. He's accepting the prana from the church as its delegatory pranic receptor, right? So you have a haunting, which, remember, haunting creates a prana magnet, okay? In other words, if you have the bones of someone that people really respected, like Geronimo, then all of the love and prana for Geronimo would have to go where? To the bones. Which bones, James? The bones that were probably the most central, indicative to that person. It would probably have to go there, right? It'd probably have to go to, I don't know. So what's the biggest bones that someone has? What would be a good bone to pick? Like if you had to pick one bone to go, like what holds your prana, you'd probably go with like a skull, right? Oh, here's one right here. How convenient. Sachi Ivank's confessors. Poor girl. It's probably a lady. Who is this? Look at these relics, guys. This is all bone technology. Yes, we carry the sacred wrist bone of the sacred. We love her so much that we've taken her body and split it into 1,000 pieces and sold them to the church, which gave back the most to Rome. Saint Valentine. Isn't that lovely? Doesn't this make you want to go out and go, let's totally freaking worship this stuff? Bone technology. Bone technology. Say it with me. Bone technology. It's funny to say, but this is what we're doing, guys. This is what they're doing. What is this? Is that a fist? Oh, the Saint Fistifus. Saint Fistifus of the Orifice. The Orifice of Saint Fistifus can be seen on display this Sunday at the Royal Tomb. There will be a viewing of the Royal Orifice. Yes, because that is what we call holy. Look at this stuff. That's actually, that may be art. Who knows what that is? Relics of Saint Rafka, Our Lady of Lebanon. It's her jawbone. It's her freaking jawbone. I mean, come on. Come on. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, I think I'll go down and look at the bones and go, oh, I just love your bones. They're so great. We're going to put them in a church and blend flowers for them and do lovely, lovely things like that. Man, I just got a super chat. That's going to go to our film. I got to get a ding, though, but I'm going to have to reach over the dog. My dog can take it. Hang on. I just made an old man noise. Sorry about that. Thanks, Snake. Appreciate it. So, this isn't like one or two churches, guys. This is a lot of churches. The business of bones, relic trafficking in the Middle East. Look at this. Oh, man. Look at this crap. St. Francis Xavier's arm will be on display. That's wrong. That's wrong. This is not normal, guys. It's not normal. This is not normal. Here's BM Gabriel's. We've found some butt cheese before he died, and we scraped the butt cheese off into this thimble, and now we worship it every Sunday. It's wonderful. Wonderful. Here's a jeweled skeleton of Saint Mondita. He's cruising around the world. Look, he's got his own. Yeah, man. They're taking me all around the world. This is, talk about golden child. This is exactly how a golden child gets tortured. Because you're looking at that going, well, look, they're praising you. They gave you a crown. And you're like, oh my God. It's awful. Meanwhile, this ghost is wandering around going, what the fuck? Find me. Find my peace. I need to be resting on my mound. I need to be back with my heritage, resting in peace where people can remember me. But no, because we've got the burnt head of St. Lawrence displayed at the Vatican. The Vatican. Come to the Vatican next week. We're unveiling the flaming head of St. Francis. Be lovely. Come to Mass. Pretend to eat the body of Christ, drink the blood of Christ, and then come look at the flaming melted skin on the head of a mummy that we preserved in glass as a way of having you come here and give us money. Oh, that's some creepy ass shit, isn't it? Man, poor St. Lawrence. And, you know, right now, I would hope that these guys are wandering around like trying to figure out how to haunt the shit out of us for doing this. I mean, this is really freaking twisted. Here's a guy kissing the freaking glass. We're surrounded by insane people, guys. Here's someone's finger. The thumb of St. Thomas Aquinas. That's lovely. Oh my goodness, what is that? Oh, relics of Catholic saints. God, man, I hope that's some crazy art thing that someone's doing and not actually like, oh, this is how we've got it. Bone technology. The relics of St. Theodore. Look at this, the way they posed him. It's sick, man. Meanwhile, the basilicus is actually built on top of a graveyard. Right there where St. Peter died, there was actually already a graveyard there. And they're like, no, that's cool. Yeah, we'll build the largest cathedral around someone's bones. I think that he probably understood bone technology because this was how they started churches back then. So they were actively haunting buildings. And then after they haunt these buildings, these churches, they then turn around and tell people that ghosts aren't real. But meanwhile, the relics becomes its own marketplace, becomes its own system. And I think St. Peter probably was like, yeah, I want you to haunt the fucking world with my bones. Like, I want to hold the fucking keys to salvation. And I want you guys to haunt my fucking bones and use that. I want all that prana pouring over my bones. It's like some kind of like, it's the equivalent of just posting this on Facebook that jealousy is just a hole in the ego, and the back pressure of that hole in your ego causes an evacuation of all your goo inside. It gets sucked right out of you as long as that hole's there. That's why jealous people act so desperate, because they're starving. They're egoically starving for what's happening. I imagine St. Peter had something like that. He became addicted to the prana of worship. So many messiahs back then were, I mean, we still have this today, but back then they were a little bit more honest. It was like, I'm in touch with God, you should follow me. And everyone else is like, yeah, sure. I'll do that for a while. We'll see how it works out. He's like, place your dick on the table and chop off the end. It's like, well, I think I'll try something else for a while. But these guys are all experimenting with what's going to work the best. So they're looking for trauma mind control, right? Because that's going to bind you. That's going to cause you to really join right in and go, well, if I cut off my genitals, I'm probably committed at this point. Because to leave now would be like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. There's a lot. You see this right now with Republicans and Democrats. It's just that times 1,000 when you place your junk on the table and slice off the end of it. So these are trauma cults that are built in. And when you have that trauma where you're evacuated, your prana is going to go somewhere. And when your prana is going to go somewhere, well, maybe it's going to go into this. This is belief technology, isn't it? This is the technology of belief right here. And because we have a pranic jealousy, because so many of us end up broken. Why? Because we fear death. We don't understand what happens afterwards. So we end up with this prana vacuum. That prana is going to go somewhere, and that somewhere is going to be the technology of belief. My last book was about the technology of belief, not the removal of belief. I don't want anyone to remove their belief. If anything, I want you to throttle it up, give it more gas, and understand that your belief is a finite resource and it's the most valuable form of energy on the planet. Your plasma, your personal plasma of belief, is something that cannot be produced, cannot be recreated, and it literally makes things grow. It makes truth happen. It makes kids live. It makes animals live. It makes plants live. It makes films happen. It makes all of us do what we do to take care of our own tribes. That's technology. It's belief technology. And they can get that from you as long as they have a vessel that's going to suck it down. And maybe that vessel is somehow indicative of the amount of trauma that goes on when this person's died. Look, Saint Theodore. Guys, this isn't like 1, 2, or 3. It's like everywhere. The holy relic of the right arm of St. Thomas. St. Vincent. Bejeweled skeletons. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. It's got the freaking rib bones in there. This is not how you honor somebody. This is how you mock them for eternity. This is how you take that suffering, that mocking suffering, and rechannel that prana somewhere. Imagine how amazing it probably feels to them to know how many people push into Rome and push their prana into the Vatican, I mean. And it's on top of the catacombs of like dead children, pieces of saints, victims of the Inquisition, all built on the square, the Circus Maximus, where all those Christians were murdered, like in front of the obelisk. The very, very same spot that they've now created this hollow ground. Doesn't add up at all. It doesn't add up that this is just all innocent stuff here. And when you go back to the Cave of Patriarchy, well, now you've got an idea for how all this can be rooted into one place, one cave, the Well of Souls. That's kind of what I'm getting to, is that there's a well of souls. This is awful. Holy Martyr Alexander. And again, every time you martyr a saint, then you get to install in the belief that, see, we can't trust you. You go out and martyr people. When it's the church that actually set this stuff up to begin with. Never let a good tragedy go to waste. Here's in Chicago. That's fitting. St. John Cantius Church, Chicago. It's so out in the open, yet it's so silent. Like no one talks about it. They don't want to talk about it. Why? Because they grew up a long time ago being told, this is what religion is, son. It's parallelism, as S.B. Aldrich says. Because if I can get you talking about Islam versus Judaism, if you reject either one, I get to say you're not religious. It's a form of synthesis, Hegelian. Anyway, Cave of the Patriarchs. I'd look it up if I was you. I think if we could clean that place out, I think a lot of bad shit would stop happening. When I say clean it out, I mean find those bones and honor them in a better way. Keep in mind that a big part of the Bible was, if you remember, who was it? Oh gosh, sorry guys, I'm drawing a blank, but it was take this money, go to land of Canaan and spend it, take the silver and buy a plot of land so we can bury someone there. Shemeth. I'm sorry, I can't remember it. It's this planting of bones in foreign lands, I think, that probably starts this engine, this prana engine of like the bones themselves feel trauma, and also anyone who venerates those bones. That veneration can now be hijacked. Those are the two kind of technologies that I'm suggesting are at play here. Something to think about. I think I'm going to sign off now. I feel like you guys probably have heard me talk about bones enough already. And yeah, I like I said, I didn't have anything planned. Normally I would, but I thought I had a show. So I don't want to bore you. I don't want to bore you guys. I've done enough. Joe Sullivan, I have an idea, freaking hilarious idea, where Oprah calls Central Casting and is looking for some volunteers. I will tell you about it later. I think it would be a funny little sketch that we joined. We're gonna try and shoot this trailer, guys. I don't know how it's gonna happen without the editing computer, but I'm gonna keep working my ass off. Here's the GoFundMe link again if anyone wants to help out. Keep in mind, if you give, you're becoming a part of this production company, and that's only for a little bit of ways, for a little bit of time right now. It's only at the beginning. So join us. We freaking love it. It'd be awesome. And here's Patreon too. If you want to read all about Tala. Tala's the awesome giant that's hanging above Rockefeller's chimney or fireplace there. There's Patreon. You can check it out. Love you guys. Keep your bones about you. Let's make 2020 amazing. I know it's already going to be. Let's do that. Let's really, really make it kick ass. Let's do big, big things together. We can do it. We already are. Let's really focus on it. 2020, the year of clarity, the year of vision, the year of really awesome stuff. That's all for now. Bye.